The dream of buying in Nevada is starting to crack. The neon lights still glow, the casinos still buzz, but behind the flash, something's shifting. Home prices are sliding, inventory is piling up, and confidence in the market evaporating. What was once a haven for affordable living and quick flips is now becoming one of the riskiest places to buy real estate in 2025. In this video, we uncover the top 10 worst cities to buy a house in Nevada. Cities where the data is flashing warning signs and buyers are quietly backing away. If you care about where your money goes, hit subscribe now. This is Discover the Nation, and we're diving deep into the truth behind Nevada's housing market. No fluff, no hype, just facts that could save you thousands. Let's dive in.
Number 10. Perump. This desert town southwest of Las Vegas once promised affordable land, wide-open skies, and off-grid dreams. But in 2025, Perump's housing market is running on fumes. Inventory is up more than 40% year over year, and prices have slid nearly 12%, a dangerous drop in a town already walking a financial tightrope. What used to attract dreamers and retirees now repels cautious buyers. Insurance premiums are climbing, water access remains an ongoing concern, and job opportunities scarce. Properties that once offered freedom now sit unsold, collecting dust and weeds. Commuting to Vegas? No longer cheap, fast, or sustainable. Fuel costs have made remote living more burdensome than bold. Even investors are pulling out, leaving behind rows of price cuts, abandoned flips, and a market gasping for breath. If you're expecting appreciation or passive income, this might not be the gold rush you think. Perump was once seen as Nevada's hidden gem, but today it's more like a warning sign in the sand. And before you buy in places like this, hit that subscribe button to Discover the Nation. We dig deep so you don't fall into housing traps disguised as opportunity. Number 9. Carson City. Nestled between snow-capped peaks and sagebrush valleys, Carson City still looks like a postcard. But in 2025, that postcard's edges are curling. Median home prices have fallen more than 10%, listings are sitting longer than they have in years, and confidence in the market is quietly evaporating. Sure, it's Nevada's capital, but that doesn't mean it's recession-proof. The local economy leans heavily on government employment, with few signs of tech or industry expansion. Younger buyers are priced out, retirees are cashing out, and new developments are slowing down. The city's boutique charm is still intact, but its housing market losing steam fast. Local agents report price drops, more expired listings, and fewer qualified buyers walking through the door. Wildfire insurance premiums are rising, adding to the total cost of home ownership in this sleepy town. Carson City still sells the fantasy of mountain living, but in 2025, it's a fragile market wearing a calm disguise. Tap subscribe now to Discover the Nation, because this is where we separate perception from reality, one city at a time.
Number 8. Dayton. Just east of Carson City, Dayton was once hyped as Nevada's next affordable frontier, a place where families could stretch out, investors could get in early, and retirees could downshift in peace. But in 2025, that dream is flickering fast. Median home prices have dropped roughly 9% since last year, and the market's momentum is gone. New subdivisions that once promised instant appreciation are now half-built or completely paused. Builders are slowing projects, and open house signs sit untouched for weeks. Out-of-state migration has tapered off, leaving more homes chasing fewer buyers. Infrastructure is lacking. Neighborhoods without fiber internet, weak cellular reception, limited medical facilities, all deal breakers in today's post-pandemic era of remote work and digital connectivity. Even the small-town charm can't mask the underlying weakness. For buyers expecting steady value growth, Dayton is starting to look like a detour, not a destination. And while the views and open space still appeal to some, the economic fundamentals don't lie. Dayton may still be peaceful, but peace of mind, that's fading fast. Number 7. Fernley. Fernley once held the promise of strategic affordability, close enough to Reno with plenty of land and marketed as a family-friendly escape from soaring urban prices. But that promise is now under serious pressure in 2025. Home values have dropped over 11% from their 2022 highs. More than 30% of active listings have been discounted, and many more will follow. The supply-demand equation is lopsided. New homes are still being built, but buyers are pulling back, creating a growing glut in the market. Local employment growth hasn't kept up with development. Water scarcity concerns, previously dismissed, are now sparking real hesitation, especially from families planning long-term. Add to that outdated infrastructure in older neighborhoods, underfunded public schools, and sluggish city services, and you've got more than just softening, you've got stagnation. Even investors are quietly exiting. Rent returns are dropping, appreciation is non-existent, and exit strategies getting harder. Fernley is no longer the smart buy, it's a cautionary tale in the making. Smash that subscribe button for Discover the Nation and make sure your next real estate move isn't built on outdated assumptions.
Number 6. Spanish Springs. Spanish Springs, once the crown jewel of northern Nevada suburbia, is no longer the sure bet it once seemed. In 2025, what was marketed as clean, family-friendly, and perfectly located is now showing the classic signs of an overheated market cooling down fast. Inventory has exploded, jumping over 60% year over year, and yet buyer demand has flatlined. Builders are slashing prices and tossing in incentives like free appliances, closing credits, and temporary rate buydowns just to keep deals from falling apart. That confidence? It's gone. In its place, panic discounts and desperate sales reps. Existing homeowners are in a bind. Competing with these builder deals is nearly impossible, and many are watching their home's value slip month after month. At the same time, infrastructure isn't keeping pace with the rapid sprawl. Traffic congestion is worsening, school overcrowding is becoming the norm, and promised amenities like parks and shopping centers are delayed or half-baked. Interest rates hovering around 7.5% aren't helping. For new buyers, monthly payments are steep, and the gamble of whether equity will grow just isn't paying off. Spanish Springs isn't collapsing, but the neighborhood glow is fading. It's not the red-hot suburb it used to be, and for those hoping to ride a fast appreciation wave, this market might leave you stranded. Subscribe to Discover the Nation, where we break the headlines before they hit. This isn't just a trend, it's a turning point. Number 5. Sparks. Sparks has always lived in Reno's shadow, but in recent years, that shadow turned into a spotlight and prices skyrocketed. Fast forward to 2025, and Sparks is now a cautionary tale of rapid growth meeting a hard stop. The average home now takes twice as long to sell compared to 2022, and when it does sell, it's often after multiple price cuts. Bidding wars are gone, appraisal gaps are closing, and sellers who once dreamed of fast equity are watching the market flatten beneath their feet. In many new subdivisions, HOA fees have quietly crept upward. That dream home now comes with hefty monthly dues and strict rules that don't sit well with today's affordability-challenged buyers. Combine that with construction delays, quality complaints, and buyer fatigue, and Sparks starts to feel less like a haven and more like a headache. Add the skyrocketing insurance premiums, especially for homes bordering wildfire-prone areas, and you've got a market where total cost of ownership is ballooning beyond projections. What's worse, investors are ghosting. The once thriving short-term rental market is stagnating under regulation threats and oversupply. Rent growth is flat, vacancy rates are rising, and long-term prospects are murky. Sparks hasn't crashed yet, but the market pulse is weak. If you're thinking of planting roots here, know this: what looked like a shortcut to Reno's equity wave may now be a detour into uncertainty.
Number 4. Reno. Reno isn't crashing, but it's definitely cooling. Once the crown jewel of Nevada's mid-tier cities, the biggest little city is no longer the affordable, high-growth darling it was just a few years ago. Median home prices are technically still up year over year, but the momentum is slowing. That boom energy, it's evaporating. Inventory is creeping up, slowly but steadily, and sellers are lowering expectations. No more bidding wars, no more waived inspections. Just longer days on market and buyers doing their homework.
Tech layoffs and hiring freezes have spooked the relocation crowd. And those floodplain remappings and wildfire zone updates, they've triggered a wave of insurance premium hikes that are crushing monthly budgets. Add to that the rising cost of property taxes and utilities, and Reno's cost of living edge is shrinking fast. Renters are pulling back. First-time buyers are hesitating, and second home investors are quietly exiting. Even popular neighborhoods like South Meadows and Somerset are reporting higher than normal inventory and more frequent price reductions. And in new subdivisions, builders are throwing in incentives, closing costs, appliance packages, rate buy-downs, just to keep things moving. This isn't a crash yet, but it's no longer the rocket ship it once was. For new buyers in 2025, Reno demands long-term vision and thick financial skin. Don't expect a quick return. This market now favors the patient and the practical. Want to see where the cracks are forming? Before the headlines catch on, subscribe to Discover the Nation and stay ahead of every real estate reversal from coast to coast. Number 3. Henderson. Henderson, Nevada, sleek, sun-drenched, and once bulletproof, is now bending under the pressure of its own market weight. In 2025, this city's housing sector is under stress, and no zip code is immune. From gated luxury enclaves to mid-level planned communities, the signs of slowdown are spreading. Inventory is up a jaw-dropping 70% since last year. Days on market? Up. Price cuts? Everywhere. Especially in communities like Inspirata, Anthem, and Seven Hills, where expectations were sky-high just a short time ago. Buyers are now more cautious, more strategic, and far less desperate. And it's not just pricing. Mellow ruse taxes and rising insurance premiums are turning monthly housing costs into financial burdens, even for well-off families. New developments are struggling to sell out, and investor-owned properties, especially short-term rentals, are now being dumped on the market as revenue dries up. HOA fees have also jumped in several master plan neighborhoods, sparking complaints from residents about diminishing value. Infrastructure upgrades and rising utility costs are being passed directly to homeowners, further tightening the financial vice. The city's once booming job market has slowed too. Hiring freezes in healthcare, finance, and logistics, all big local employers, have reduced buyer demand. And while Henderson remains attractive for its safety, schools, and location, that image is getting cloudier in 2025. What we're seeing now is a market in flux. It's not a full retreat yet, but it's teetering. And if broader economic headwinds pick up, Henderson could fall harder than anyone expected. We'll show you the truth behind the shimmer, one zip code at a time. Number 2. North Las Vegas. North Las Vegas is no stranger to the boom and bust rhythm of the Nevada real estate game. But in 2025, that rhythm is feeling uncomfortably familiar, and for all the wrong reasons. Home values here are down roughly 14% from their pandemic-era peak, making it one of the sharpest declines in the state. And while that may look like a golden ticket for budget-conscious buyers, the reality is more complex and far riskier. Mortgage applications in the area have slowed to a trickle, and affordability concerns are dominating buyer conversations. New home builders are offering steep incentives, from rate buy-downs to tens of thousands in closing credits, just to move stagnant inventory. Still, the demand isn't returning. Why? Because under the surface, fear is creeping back in. First-time buyers worry about negative equity. Investors are pulling out, and whispers of new foreclosures are starting to swirl. The infrastructure has always lagged behind in parts of North Las Vegas, and with rising property taxes and shrinking job prospects in service-heavy sectors, some residents are feeling trapped in underwater mortgages again. This isn't the crash of 2008, but the shadows look eerily similar. If you're thinking of buying here, do it with your eyes wide open and a long-term plan in place. And don't forget, subscribe to Discover the Nation to stay ahead of the signs before your deal becomes a costly mistake. Number 1. Las Vegas. The show might go on at the Strip, but the housing market curtain is falling fast. In 2025, Las Vegas is staring down one of the steepest housing corrections in the western U.S., and the numbers are tough to ignore. Inventory? Up more than 80% compared to last year. New home sales? down 39% across the board. And price cuts? Everywhere. Whether it's a high-rise condo or a suburban family home, the buyer pool has evaporated. Sellers are slashing prices, and yet homes are sitting longer. That bidding war frenzy, it's ancient history. What's causing it? A perfect storm. Rising interest rates have crushed affordability. New short-term rental regulations have torched Airbnb returns. Insurance premiums and property taxes are climbing fast, especially in areas flagged for flood risk. Investors are pulling back, flippers are taking losses, and cash buyers are waiting for the dust to settle. If you're thinking of jumping in hoping to ride a rebound, be warned. Vegas isn't a flip market anymore. It's a hold-your-breath market. Still dreaming of that Vegas lifestyle? Just make sure you're buying for the long haul, not for a quick win. And if you want the full truth, the unfiltered breakdowns from coast to coast, subscribe to Discover the Nation, because this isn't just real estate, it's real risk.
Final thoughts: Nevada's housing mirage in 2025. Nevada has always been a land of bold dreams, where desert sunsets meet silver fortunes, where neon lights promise endless opportunity. But in 2025, the dream is shifting. Beneath the polished surface of luxury developments and booming skylines, a deeper story is unfolding. One of cooling demand, inflated costs, and a housing market that's quietly turning on its heels. Across the state, from the mountain edges of Carson City to the shimmering subdivisions of Henderson and the outskirts of Las Vegas, the same symptoms are flashing like hazard lights. Inventory is swelling. Price drops are becoming the norm. And buyers, once frantic, are now fearful. The era of buy now or be priced out forever is over. In its place, hesitation, doubt, retreat. It's not just about numbers on a Zillow page. It's about real people, first-time buyers who overpaid in 2022 and are now underwater. Retirees who thought they downsized into stability but now face soaring insurance premiums, rising property taxes, and homes they can't resell without a loss. Investors who banked on Airbnbs and easy equity, only to be hit with new regulations and plummeting rental returns. And let's be clear, this isn't just a Las Vegas story. Places like Fernley, Spanish Springs, and Perump were once whispered about as the next big boomtowns, hidden gems where early buyers would win big. But in 2025, they're struggling to hold value, burdened by overbuilding, underwhelming demand, and a growing mismatch between price and livability. Even Reno, once Nevada's tech-fueled golden child, is cooling under the weight of layoffs and rising insurance premiums in wildfire zones. The magic isn't gone, but it's fading. And for those buying now without a clear long-term strategy, the risks are higher than ever. So what does this mean for you? If you're shopping for a home in Nevada, now is not the time to rush. Now is the time to pause, analyze, and ask the tough questions. Will this property hold value? Is this neighborhood oversupplied? Are the taxes and insurance sustainable? Because the market in 2025 is not forgiving, and mistiming your entry could cost you thousands. For those still bullish on Nevada's future, the opportunity may return, but only for those who stay informed, stay cautious, and understand that real estate is no longer guaranteed to rise. The age of blind buying is over. The age of strategic survival has begun. Don't get caught in the mirage. Let Discover the Nation be your early warning system, your eyes and ears on the ground as we track America's shifting housing landscape city by city, street by street. Subscribe now for powerful insights, honest breakdowns, and the truth behind the zip codes. Whether you're buying, selling, or just watching the winds of change, we're here to guide you through it. Because in 2025, the American dream of home ownership is no longer a sure thing. It's a gamble. And in Nevada, you already know how those usually end.